This is Sketchworks NewsBrake. The news stops here. I'm Tim Millard. Brian Troxel is out this week. You'll find out why later in the show. But I think he's out there trying to add to his growing collection of pictures on Getty Images, such as this one, and this one. Doesn't he look nice? By now, you've hopefully set your clock ahead 1 hour for daylight saving time. Or you can be like me and just leave the clock on your stove, blink incessantly, because it's so much nicer to not know what the current time is. In a way, it's cheaper than therapy. I've got scripts in my hand, by the way. President Donald Trump says a potential recession caused by his tariffs against Mexico and Canada will be, in his words, great for us. Much like how chronic diarrhea is great for losing weight. Ugh. In response to the tariffs, the Canadian province of Ontario announced a 25% increase on what it charges for electricity supplied to the United States. A White House spokesperson says President Trump will retaliate with additional tariffs targeting Ontario as soon as he's able to find Ontario on a map. Next page. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick insists, and again, these are his words right here, there's going to be no recession in America. And in a way, he's right. Because, hey, the stock market is crashing. You're paying more money for goods and items imported from outside the United States. That means you're going to have less money to spend. That means you're going to spend less money. That means businesses that rely on your money are going to have less money, and so on and so forth. But of course, it's still not a recession. Somehow it's still not. White House advisor and ketamine-fueled weirdo Elon Musk wore a suit to a most recent cabinet meeting after President Trump mocked him for not wearing one last time. And it just so happens, you'll see here, I am wearing a suit because you may remember in last week's NewsBrake episode, Sketchworks head writer John D. Babcock III mercilessly mocked Brian for not wearing a suit. But here's the kicker. I'm not wearing any pants. In related Elon Musk news, an unmanned SpaceX rocket blew up just several minutes after liftoff. The Department of Government Efficiency has determined that taxpayers should not be wasting money on rockets that successfully launch and not blow up. By the way, we're not done with Elon Musk just yet. Shares in Tesla have dropped by 50% since December. Musk has a warning for investors who may be thinking of ditching their shares. He says anyone who tries to sell their shares will get a free Cybertruck. That's punishment enough. The Defense Department removed photos of the Enola Gay. That's the World War II airplane that dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. The reason being the word gay. A Pentagon spokesperson says the pictures are back, but now the plane has a new name. It is the Enola Alpha Heterosexual Male, definitely not gay. No homo. Look it up in your textbooks, kids. And now for some news about the performing arts. The nonprofit behind Sesame Street announced layoffs of more than 200 people due to budget cuts. To make matters worse, Sesame Street had The Count break the news to everyone, one by one. It's a shame. President Donald Trump nominated Fox News host Laura Ingraham and Maria Bartiromo to the Kennedy Center Board of Directors. They already have big plans for next season. They're going to be doing a revival of The Diary of Anne Frank, except in this one, the cast is executed at the end. Theater. The Kennedy Center also confirms that more than 20 shows have been canceled or postponed since President Trump became the board chairman. This may explain why Kid Rock announced a 4-year residency at the Kennedy Center. Must-see shows. In a recent interview with Chris Pratt, actress Millie Bobby Brown said her middle name is not Bobby. I had no idea. She says that her middle name is actually Bonnie, and she uses Bobby for, in her own words, shits and giggles. And it makes sense because eating all of that British food is sure to constipate you and make you desperate to do anything for those shits and giggles. I had no idea that she was British, by the way. But I will say this. An English breakfast? It's worth the heartburn. By the way, Chris Pratt had a revelation of his own in that interview. He said his first name is actually not Chris. It's Spencer. Remember Spencer Pratt? If I have to remember him, so do you. We're all going to suffer. I've got my script still. By the way, in related celebrity news, the reason why I'm hosting is because Brian Troxel and other Sketchworks personalities are in New York City for a one-night-only staged reading of Vape, the Grease Parody. I want to make sure I get that title right. The cast includes, guess what? Saturday Night Live alumna Rachel Dratch. I'm not kidding. It's fantastic. So if you're not up to date on what's happening with Vape, the Grease Parody, want to make sure I get that title right, make sure you go to vapethemusical.com. You're going to find all sorts of updates about what's going on with Vape and hopefully where you'll be able to see it on a stage near you. Switching pages. Canadian singer-songwriter Buffy Sainte-Marie lost two of Canada's most prestigious awards. It turns out she's not Canadian as she claimed, and she's not Indigenous as she claimed. She's an American. I mean, I had no idea that the tariffs were going to go this far, but hey, it's 2025. Speaking of 2025, you want to be deported? We shouldn't be asking that question, but it's 2025. Turns out there's an app for that because it's 2025. The Department of Homeland Security is using an app called CBP Home. It allows undocumented migrants to essentially deport themselves by submitting what's known as an intent to depart form. But what Homeland Security didn't expect was many Americans who are using the same app so they can deport themselves for the next 4 years. Surprise! A winter storm could bring as much as 4 feet of snow to parts of California this week. Meteorologists say the false spring season you've heard of, it's over. What is it now? It's the put your damn shorts and flip-flops back in storage because guess what? It's not spring yet. That reminds me, hold on. Guess I don't need this. We'll bring it back out for spring. For the first time in 30 years, New York City went 5 days without a shooting until, yeah, you guessed it, someone got shot. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says other public safety-related streaks remain intact, such as most days without a crossbow attack, most days without a beating with a sack of doorknobs, and most days since the last time a pizza-carrying rat attacked someone. Gotta watch out for the pizza rats. Backyard s'mores are blamed as the cause of a wildfire that's burning in New York's Long Island. Firefighters say you should really use Pop-Tarts because you can get the same s'mores flavor without trying to burn down Long Island. Or maybe you want to burn down Long Island. I'm not the fire police. Can you believe this? Somebody paid nearly $88,000 for a Cheeto that looks like the Pokemon character Charizard. Now that got me thinking, if people are willing to pay that much for a Charizard-shaped Cheeto, then I'm going to get a canister of those cheese balls, and I'm going to claim that they look like the Pokemon character coughing. I mean, I could use the money. I've got medical bills. Hey, guess what? That's it for this week's Sketchworks News Break. Brian may be back next week. He may not. I'm not entirely sure yet. How do you feel about that, Rachel Dratch? Just as I expected. Either way, we'll be back next week, and we hope you are too. I'm Tim Millard. Thanks for watching, and tell your mom I said hi. Let her know I'm not wearing any pants either.